I played Crash Twinsanity in 2025. This game is mental. So I'm going to add some context before we go any further. The game both takes place and was released 3 years after Wrath of Cortex, both developed by the same team, Traveller's Tales. According to the wiki, the game's original story resembled too much of the original Ratchet & Clank, so the team had to start with a clean slate, but they still had the same deadline. So, repurposing what assets they could, and changing the story in any way they could, this beautiful mess is a product of that situation. Seeing its release to an American audience on the 26th of September 2004, and a release to PAL regions following on October 8th of the same year, it wasn't too long before a 4 or 5 year old version of myself got his first copy of Crash Twinsanity. And let me say, a 4 or 5 year old version of me absolutely loved this game, and I still hold it in my heart to this day. With all that being said, we're going to look back on this game and we're going to see if it holds its weight and see if the setbacks and the bugs hold the game back or if it still shines. So, without further ado, let's get into the story breakdown to kick things off, or what bit of the story we can break down. See, a lot of levels and plot points were left out of the game due to the developers running out of time, which funnily enough gets brought up and mentioned later in the game. So we're going to just work with what we can and what we have here.
Sleep, my insipid angel.
We open up the beautiful scenes of Crash's home. Beautiful right up until Cortex beams Coco, Crash's sister for whoever doesn't know, with a paralyzing right, and proceeds to dress as her to both show representation in game and trailer Crash wife. After exploring the beauty of Insanity Beach, we follow Cortex down a pathway into the jungle, fighting off skunks, tribesmen, and evil flowers. We even see a self-aware skunk.
Hey! Yeah, you! I've been doing this for 10 stinking years! Back and forward, and I'm sick of it! Well, I'm not gonna do it no more!
Eventually, we're led to a trap. We have to take on Cortex and the Mecha Bandicoot, being piloted by InGen. We bully them, win the boss battle, and then Cortex goes sicko mode. Cortex sends us both spiraling down what looks like some sort of mining operation. We control both Crash and Cortex, with them in the shape of a ball as they're brawling. We make our way through the cave system, fight off some ant guard dudes, get our first power crystal, and make our way back to the surface. But not before we have a cool chase sequence where we have to hit these rocks in a certain order to, slow down our pursuers. After our eventual return to the surface, 2 bootleg chickens rock up out of an interdimensional hole. Victor and Moritz. They're the evil twins. They're like twins, but evil.
Before the awesome might of the evil twin.
They tell us they're going to destroy our island, and rather than taking the interdimensional turkey seriously, Cortex gets cheeky, and he has his brain popped out for it.
We're going to destroy your precious islands.
The good. You won't be around to see it.
How tiresome.
You wanna play mind games? Okay, tough guy. Let's play mind games.
Cortex runs off and we chase after him again.
Go on, run!
Catch you later, Brainiac!
After catching up to Cortex, he begs us to help him. He also mentions the twins want to take his brain, which they never actually said.
You and steal my brain! How I envy the
Also, how's his brain back in already? When did that happen? Anyways, irrelevant is what any of that is, because now he's being attacked by bees.
For the humble bumblebee.
We have to protect him from hazards along a side-scrolling path, of which he also ends up being chased by a bear. But at the end of it, when he finally seems safe, he gets captured by Papu Papu and the tribesmen. Funnily, Papu Papu is the first boss in the first Crash game.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
We make our way to the tribe's humble abode and free Cortex. Kind of. He's tied to the top of a tiki, and we just kind of knock him into a river. The tribesmen chase us, and we escape them. We navigate our way through a cave until we reach a farm, where Cortex is free and dancing. Yeah. Anyways, a farmer tries to negotiate with us for clearing his farm in return for a power crystal.
My orchard is riddled with greedy worms. If you rid my land of these pests, I'll give you this power crystal.
Cortex shoots him, and we clear his farm anyways. So he probably just didn't have to shoot him, but...
This isn't a game.
I'd like to also say I think there was signs beforehand that Cortex was about to strike. For the second time, we meet the evil twins. They bring an ancient statue to life, and we take on our second boss battle. At the end of the battle, the evil twins drop evil dialogue on us. Cortex notices they mention being from the 10th dimension.
10th dimension.
And from there we move to his lair, taking this lovely little rickety shaft over. We try to enter Cortex's lair, but the door won't open, so we gotta use the back door instead. Jumping atop gears and crates in an icy maze, we eventually meet up with Cortex again. He looks to be on the losing side in a meeting with some penguins. Breaking the fourth wall for not the only time in this game, Cortex explains why he hasn't paid the penguins.
Are you sure? Well, the past few years have kind of been slow. Wrath of Cortex didn't do as well as we'd hoped, and... Fish?
After his negotiation tactic doesn't work, he blasts them. Now controlling both characters again, we continue to make our way towards the back door of Cortex's secret lair. Along the way we accidentally free Uka Uka, who attacks us with a giant ice body. Luckily for us, there just so happens to be some furnace pad things beneath us. Coincidental, I know. We melt the ice, and then Uka Uka and Aku Aku join forces to stop the evil twins themselves.
Wait! An evil greater than even yours threatens to destroy this world.
No! That's my job!
We finish our journey to the rear entrance of the secret lair, naturally wondering what the two masks are going to do, or how they're getting on. We soon see that this doesn't end well. The evil twins toss the masks to the side, and it's revealed that Cortex ruined their lives. But he doesn't remember because...
I've ruined the lives of so many. I can't be expected to remember them all.
Cortex brings us to the next floor of his lair, showing us the Psychotron, which we'll use to access the 10th dimension. But we need more power crystals first.
We require 6 power crystals in order to make the leap, and we have... 4. Let's see. That isn't enough!
Cortex realizes the solution to our problem is Engine's battleship, and atop a balcony, he contemplates how it is we're supposed to get there, before Crash kicks him off and uses him as a snowboard. We shred our way down the mountainside, swiftly getting to the bottom, right up until... We crash through Dingodyle's home, kind of destroying it, but at least we made it to the battleship. We traverse through the ship until we eventually come to battle Engage. It's Engine. I have no idea why recording this I kept saying Engage. The amount of times I've had to retake audio because I kept saying Engage instead of Engine. Himself on a floating platform. When we win, the platform crashes with us and Engage tumbling down. We land in the ship and get chased by a walrus chef. Narrowly escaping, we exit to a substantial amount of TNT. Engine is somehow still falling. How is he still falling? I don't know. But he lands on the TNT. The explosion causes us to be shot off to a different iceberg, and for the ship to begin sinking. We meet N Trophy and Embryo here, where they ask us about the location of the treasure. How did they know about the evil treasure? Who knows? Why are they conveniently on this iceberg we just happened to land on? Also, who knows? It's also here that N Trophy tells us that the ship is sinking. We don't actually see it. kick their asses in the boss battle and escape back to Cortex with all the power crystals we collected along the way. Then, out of literally nowhere, an unparalyzed Coco jumps Cortex. How she knows where we are? How did she get in? Stop asking questions. Coco's attack ruins the crystals, and somehow the Psychotron paralyzed her. Again. It also looks like she damaged the Psychotron. The cutscene doesn't make it too clear in my opinion. The solution to our problems? Visit Madame Amberley's Academy of Evil to recruit Cortex's niece, Nina, who's making her debut in the mainline Crash games.
Isn't she delightful?
Shortly after arriving at Madame Amberley's Academy of the Evil, we used the school sewer system to open a door that was closed before. We didn't hit any switches down there, so I don't know how the door's open now. But nonetheless, we also fight Dingodile down there. No doubt getting revenge for us busting up his house earlier. But how do you know we'd be there? How did this encounter even come about? Doesn't matter, because we win anyways. We play solo as Cortex for the first time, and he can't double jump. Anywho, we shoot our way through the school's hallways, which sounds very, very weird to say. I feel like YouTube won't like that. But we find Nina, and then we play as her, and we traverse the rooftops as her. I'm guessing we were meant to play more as her, because this is the only time we play as her outside the final boss. We switch back to Cortex, and in our escape we encounter Madame Amberley herself. She's a fun boss battle. She's different from the rest because we use Cortex's ray gun as our main form of assault. But we beat her, it switches back to Crash then, and we just leave, we hop on the blimp and go. On Cortex's blimp, he remembers how this problem all began. When Cortex was a student in the Academy, he used his two pet parrots, mega shocking spoiler, Victor and Moritz, as test subjects for a prototype of his Evolver Ray, but none of it went right and he sent them to the 10th dimension. How he's only remembering all of this now, God only knows. We head back to the icy layer, Nina slaps the Psychotron to fix it, and we travel to the 10th dimension to face the evil twins. To be honest, I think the game does a horrid job of showing the Psychotron as broken. Maybe I'm stupid, but I never knew it was actually broken until I read the wiki when I was researching to see if there was any parts like that I missed out on during my however many playthroughs. We teleport to the 10th dimension, a reversed mirror of our own. We've seen glimpses so far of what looks like missing content, but this is where it hits the fan. Breaking the fourth wall, Cortex says,
It should have been 2 new dimensions, but we ran out of time.
We load into Cortex and Evil Crash hugging. Evil Crash ends up kidnapping Nina and takes her to his very own humble abode. While we chase him down, we get the 10th dimension's mirror of our surfboarding level. Outside his home, Cortex tells Evil Crash to take him instead of Nina, heroically sacrificing himself. Or at least he would have been if he didn't start running as soon as Evil Crash decided to take him up on his offer. We're led into a mirror of the side-scrolling section from earlier with the bees, except this time it's Evil Crash. Or should be, because he kept disappearing on my playthrough. As soon as I went too far ahead and went off screen, I'd come back and he just wasn't there. Evil Crash just also disappears at the end of the chase. Like, when you finish, Cortex just stops running, turns around and does the little, come on, and teleports away thing. And Evil Crash just isn't there. He doesn't show up throughout the rest of the playthrough, bar a cutscene. So it's, and even at that, the cutscene doesn't answer where he went or what happened. We make our way to the evil lair of the evil twins and take on Crash Twinsanity's final platforming gauntlet. This level is fun. It introduces disappearing and color sequence tiles that we platform through, but it also introduces energy balls that we use to power up doors. They are ass and make me not like this level. Even if the regular platforming is fun, I never completed this game as a child because I couldn't open the final door before the boss battle. This time around I got a game over by the final door. I lost all my lives using the sliding technique to hit the balls up onto the platform. Because the spin technique doesn't cut it. It doesn't get enough height on it to launch them up. Once you get through the final door, you reach the treasure room, where by the will of God, Embryo, Trophy, and Engine are all there before us. Don't question it. It does give us this cool crossover cutscene though.
The treasure!
Our treasure.
Yes, we are rich!
How did they get here?
That treasure is stolen property.
It's a little late to develop a conscience, Doctor.
Personally, I don't care, but I think he might want his gems back.
The next room has the evil twins waiting for us. After a loving back and forth with a reunion of Cortex and the evil twins, they turned their cage into a big robotic machine. Using Nina and Cortex, we set them up for Crash to finish the fight. Crash appears in the Mecha Bandicoot. Again, don't question it. We use rockets from the Mecha Bandicoot to finish off the evil twins. After we defeat the evil twins, we get what looks to be a quick glimpse of them either being ejected or just flying straight up into the sky. We're then immediately shown a cutscene of them slowly edging their way into Evil Crash's home. The door closes behind them. Evil Crash walks in front of them. We then see from his perspective how they are two dancing chickens. Cooked, nicely roasted and all. These are evil parrots that were said to be able to control the power of reality and that were able to, form their own cross-dimensional travel. How did we beat them in the boss fight as Crash, Nina, and Cortex without any super weapons? And how the hell is Evil Crash able to eat them? Earlier in the game, Victor popped Cortex's brain out of his head by just pointing at him. And now it's assumed that, their final bow out in the Crash series was Evil Crash eating them. The trio return back to their normal dimension, and after everything that happens, Cortex naturally returns to his normal ways and tries to kill Crash. But the Psychotron obviously wasn't fixed properly, because instead of it shooting Crash, it somehow shoots Cortex and beams Cortex into Crash's mind, where he's trapped with hundreds of copies of Crash getting jiggy and busting it down, Step Up 2 the street style. I think I can describe this as one of the best what-ifs in gaming. Crash Twinsanity has a good following behind it and received relatively good reviews considering the problems it faced in development. To this day, it still has die-hard fans and players like myself who grew up on it. Playing back as an adult, I can definitely see some of the problems, but I can't overlook the fact that I simply enjoyed this game. Moving on from Wrath of Cortex, Traveller's Tales were taking on a big leap in what they were trying to achieve, and considering so much was cut and so much development time was lost, it's really quite the achievement in itself. This feels like a game where the concept was perfect, but the inability to execute it due to time constraints held it back. I think it's the parts that are supposed to link the story that hinder it the most. Things like how all the other characters knew about the treasure, or how Coco knew where to find us. You definitely notice at the end where the developers were running out of time. The ending feels extremely rushed, an extra dimension is missing, and there's things that I'm not even sure if they were intentional or not, such as Nina not having any voice lines. Coco was meant to have a bigger part in the game as well, but she only had 3 cutscenes that she appeared on. The gameplay, weird energy balls aside, is smooth though, and the game's first half is amazing. Nothing can describe how much I enjoy it. It's got a great sense of humour, even in cutscenes like this.
Those spicy peanuts.
I will.
Boring.
I shall crush you like a puny runt you are. You are nothing to me, for I am the great and all-powerful Neo-Cortex. You infantile vermin! How dare you mock manhandle and manipulate me? Rest assured, I will take my terrible vengeance upon...
Yeah, whatever. Skip to the good bit.
I didn't show this earlier because, like a lot of things, it doesn't develop the plot in any way. But I still had a giggle out of watching it. Lex Lang stepped in to voice Cortex, replacing the outgoing Clancy Brown. I think his depiction of Cortex suits the game perfectly. He's sassy and he dominates every cutscene he's in. And how could I do any type of recap on this game without mentioning the soundtrack by Spiral Mouth? It's insane. Every track in this game is done a cappella. The opening theme is one like Sly Raccoon's Police HQ theme to me. It's going to be ingrained on my mind for the rest of my life. I think it's just that good. To my knowledge, the game is only playable via disc on PS2 and original Xbox. Xbox 360 can run the original Xbox copy, but levels like Madame Amberley's Academy of Evil are said to perform poorly with lowered frame rates. I think the most accessible method is how I'm playing now, via emulation on PCSX2. I do have a copy on PS2 and I'd like to get an original Xbox copy because that's the console I first played the game on. So it's definitely harder to get than some other retro titles, but if you have a way, I think you should definitely play it. There's some things I haven't touched upon, like how it's the first Crash game to have a more open level design. Areas such as the ice layer and Insanity Beach let you roam around more than Crash games before it. You can even collect gems, mostly through tougher platforming sections, to unlock concept artwork. The last thing heard regarding Crash Twinsanity was in 2017. Keith Webb had said that if Activision were ever interested, himself and a group of the game's original developers would gladly come back for a remake. Although it doesn't look likely, having received the direct sequel to Crash 3 in Crash 4, it's something that I'm holding out for. In 2025, I'd recommend to everybody who has the chance, bury your teeth into Crash Twinsanity and take the wild ride that is this unpolished gem. Thanks very much for watching the video, guys, if you made it this far. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Let me know what I can do better. If you want to see more content, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be doing my best to make content about gaming topics I love, like these games I grew up playing. Take it easy, guys.